Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
PRCBD Championship Night number 1, presented by BizX, is on the air here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome into the show. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Caleb Hart. He is Ben. I am in Ben. It is championship season here at Evergreen Speedway. We got hardware to hand out on top of race wins to hand out, and should be a fantastic show tonight for everybody watching in.
That's right. Pop those corks. We're going to spray some champagne and some cider for some of our younger drivers, and we're going to crown some champions. How exciting is that?
It's a chance for them to write their name in the long 70-year history of the Evergreen Speedway Championship books. The history books will reflect that your glory will live forever after tonight. Our first division is the Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornets, which are not running for a title, as we don't keep points in this division, but glory does last forever, and trophies look awfully good. Here's your lineup for their season-ending main event, at least here on season championship night number 1. It is on the pole, the car number 46, Calvin Delaverne. Next to him, the 31 of Lila Mashburn, Adam Marysville, sponsored by General Car Wash.
We've got Bryson Wingfield out of Monroe, sponsored by Papa Tony Hill in the 65. Alongside him in row 2 is Taylor Thompson in the 4 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Weather Right Roofing.
Row number 3, the Resch Printing 35J, Adam Altby and Talk Jenkins, and the Complete Auto Repair Service number 29 of Clint McCowan from Snohomish.
The 32 is our friend Sawyer Holden out of Snohomish, also sponsored by Weather Right Roofing. He'll start alongside the 11, the Cars Custom Auto Repair Specialist Keegan Mooney out of Bellevue.
Row number 5 is the Misfit Motorsports 01 of Tanner Bjornson out of Arlington, and Braden Clark is the 25 DW from Parts Unknown.
I see the 23 of Alexis Tubbs out of Monroe, sponsored by DL Enterprises. That'll round out, I think, this field.
11 cars going a whole bunch of times around our 1/5 mile around the inside here for the Youth Hornets. It is the straight 1/5 mile. We didn't put the dog leg or the tri-oval in on this one. As you take a look, Bjornson in the 01's kind of been the dominant car in the division here over the course of the year. He has got the most feature wins. We know that Tubbs has picked up a feature win, and even more as we come up and through. Delaverne does not take off on the initial start, so we're green and underway as the field watches Bjornson go all the way off into the neighbor's yard to try to go off and passing people here.
Yeah, looking around and trying to find whatever way through he can. Made that pass happen. It problems with Delaverne, not quite sure, but Mashburn will go to the front. Hawk Jenkins, quick mover, has made his way up already into second, now looking to get down Wingfield for third. Here's Bjornson, taking that way outside line. It's the one he's liked to run all year long in this course, and not surprised he's putting it to work early here in this final main event for the Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornets.
Well, there's a big old traffic jam getting into turn number 1. Unfortunately, it's right in front of Bjornson as he looks to move his way forward. It's a good top 3 battle here in the Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornets. Look out, cars together. In and through the corner, we've got a caution flag. Your race leader, Mashburn in the 31, kind of careened off, ends up spinning out, and Bjornson, who was up to 4th, ends up getting the wrong end of it. Let's take a look, and yep, left front into the Uke tire, over into Wingfield, and then Bjornson to a stop here in the front straightaway. One more look.
Yeah, big stack up, just that touch of the Uke tire. Maybe got a little bit of an assistance from Hawk Jenkins. Bryson Wingfield looks like also took a little bit of a hit there, but was able to keep it rolling. So tough break for Bjornson and for Mashburn.
So these are our Youth Hornets. They are 12 to 14 years old. We'll light them back up, set them back to action. Like we said, we're not keeping points in this division. The idea is run here for a couple of years, have some success, get used to what a race day looks like, and then move up to other divisions here at Evergreen Speedway. It's a single file restart, and we're back to green. Our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Yeah, we get moving. Hawk Jenkins is going to quickly take the fight to Bryson Wingfield. That's the battle for third right now. Keegan Mooney in the 11's moving that car up quickly through the field. Of course, Mooney started near the back, but is looking to try to make his way forward. Keegan Mooney's been on the podium quite a few times this year. Some contact with the 4 of Taylor Thompson. Getting a little aggressive is the 11. And makes the pass, clears into 3 and 4.
It just leans on Thompson coming off the corner, but backs off enough to allow Thompson to gather it back together. Meanwhile, look out, 29 car of McCowan has to go in through and underneath the Uke tires as contact with Tubbs sends him off that direction. Out in front, Hawk Jenkins sneaking away from Bryson Wingfield. Jenkins your leader, Wingfield in second, Mooney rolling up in third.
This is a pair of two figure-8 families here battling it out, and you can see Bryson Wingfield using that bumper to Hawk Jenkins, something Hawk Jenkins I'm sure is used to, as there's the 25 DW, lap traffic getting involved, and Keegan Mooney handles that a lot better, slips underneath Bryson Wingfield and up into second.
Nice work by Mooney. It's been a fast race car all year long, looking for some glory here on championship night. It's still very early. We're only 8 laps into this feature, 25 the distance here on our Sunday night program. Down the back straightaway, Mooney looks half a groove underneath Jenkins, getting into turn number 3. Jenkins will hold it, at least for the time being.
Yeah, Hawk just hitting his lines, and Mooney might have a little bit of a step out, gave him a little bit of bumper, settles in some more. Mooney really looking to throw the block. I'm just now noticing that Hawk Jenkins has a license plate on the back of that car.
Really?
Yeah.
Like an actual Washington State license plate?
I'm not sure. It doesn't look like a Washington one necessarily. It looks yellow of some sort, but it comes around here, you can see it's got a license plate on that car.
I'll be darned. Well, Washington plates were on back order for a long time. Apparently the prisoners didn't have enough to do. As we work our way into turn number 3, Jenkins hanging on. Mooney right there, close enough to read whatever the license plate is coming out the 4th turn.
Yeah, and Tubbs is moving that 23, trying to get to Bryson Wingfield and up into 3rd. Wingfield hard on the brakes, just trying to block the racing line as much as possible from the 23 of Tubbs. And then we've not seen the return of either Mashburn or the 01 Bjornsson towards this top. Wonder what's up with those cars. According to the ticker, right now Bjornsson scored last, so just problems for the 01 after the incident and has not been able to reclaim speed.
They'll split the difference on Braden Clark coming into the corner as Jenkins continuing to lead. Running a really good line. He opens up the corner just a little, and that's where Mooney comes right to the back bumper, but has enough speed through the apex and on corner exit to keep Mooney away from him, and more importantly, from getting underneath him in the center of the corner. As we stay green, we're at the halfway point, 13 in, 12 to go. Hawk Jenkins holding serve.
Yeah, if Hawk Jenkins just continues to do this, he's given Mooney the chance to use some bumper, but it's not rattling the 35J at all. He's just keeping the spot. That's a lot more bumper, though. Keegan Mooney's letting him know he's there. Jenkins got a little loose. He's able to keep the car underneath him now, continuing to defend.
That would have been interesting depending on the camera angle that you saw there, as I'll bet you that was very, very subtle from a couple of them, but we got a really good viewpoint of how that back end on Jenkins just stepped out a little bit on the contact. Good job by Hawk keeping his composure. Mooney keeping up the pressure, though, has been unable to find his way underneath the 35 car. Jenkins, Mooney, Tubbs in 3rd, trying to reel in that battle up in the top 2 as this one's getting awfully intense with 8 to go.
Yeah, Keegan Mooney wants by. He has given Hawk Jenkins all of the day's worth of work. So if Hawk Jenkins is able to hold on, and if he does come home with a win, this will be a definitely hard-fought victory for the 35J, but Mooney might have a run here. Leaves the door open, lap traffic. Uh-oh, contact. Mooney's in. Oh!
Passenger door collision into the Uke tire. Spits up a little bit of that lovely Western Washington moisture that accumulates in those tires over the course of the year. And Keegan Mooney, a good run, ends here as you have got contact and one into the tire. Just a whole lot happening there in one short little corner.
Yeah, the lap traffic there caused that one, I think. Hawk Jenkins, Mooney side by side battling for position, but with the lapped car there, not enough space for all of them, and then Alexis Tubbs throwing the unintentional haymaker, finishing that one out.
Well, things happen really quick, especially when you're on a fifth-of-the-mile racetrack, and drivers just nothing to do there. Mooney, unfortunately, his great run at the top of the field ends, and now it's Jenkins, Tubbs, and Holden up into the top 3. The only kid brave enough to drive a Porsche as a race car, at least in a Youth Hornet, as we're back to green.
And Bryson Wingfield gets a much better jump than Sawyer Holden. Some contact between them, but Wingfield up into 3rd. Here comes Tubbs. Big run on Hawk Jenkins for the lead.
Alexis Tubbs from dead last in this field has picked off Hawk Jenkins. All it took was a change in race car sitting in behind Jenkins, and bye-bye elite. Tough for Hawk, great for Alexis as Holden's picked his way back to 3rd.
Yeah, Hawk Jenkins was playing defense for so long. Tough break for him on the restart. Holden hitting his line, getting that 32 back up onto the podium. But right now, we'll see if Hawk Jenkins has a response. Clint McCowan's getting in this battle in the 29. That's for our final podium spot. We've lost a couple of our traditionally fast drivers today, so chance for someone else to maybe secure that third spot. But right now, Jenkins is going to have to put in some work to get back to Tubbs.
Heck, taking a look at it, I think we've lost half of our 11-car field here. As it hasn't looked like a demo derby, but it's been enough. Unfortunately, a little attrition playing a factor here in the Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornets. Wingfield and the 29 of McCowan going after it here for position number 4. Not a trophy position, not a podium spot. As you continue to watch. Oh, there's our 7th car. All right, it was just taking a little while to find Braden Clark, who I believe making his Home Track Heroes debut here. So Tubbs, Jenkins, Holden, 1, 2, 3, 2 to go.
This will be a good battle. Sawyer Holden's going to do everything he can to maybe try to get a shot at Hawk Jenkins. With a 1 to go, white flag in the air from the flag stand. This will be a good run. I think that gap might just be a little bit too much if Tubbs hits the line. Coming out of 2 and down the back stretch here for one final time. Alexis Tubbs got the job she needed done. Alexis Tubbs comes across the line first. A good restart jump. Got past Hawk Jenkins, who will finish 2nd. Sawyer Holden finishes in 3rd to round out our podium. And we're going to set it down to the Angel Winds Casino Resort podium to catch up with them.
Had the fastest car there, Sawyer, rolling around that track. Right before the caution, you set a fast lap, set one right there at the end as well. You think if you had a longer green flag run, you could have got further up?
Oh yeah, I was gaining, I think.
And how old are you here running this Youth Hornet class?
I'm 14.
So 14 years old, that's the cap of this class. Where are you planning to go next year?
I actually don't know yet.
Hey, that's fair enough. Who helps you get that number 32 car here to the track?
My Papa, my Nana, my dad, my mom, Holden Development Group, LB Motorsports, and Weatherite Roofing.
Driver the number 32, 3rd place tonight, Sawyer Holden. You got quite the posse back there in the pits, a lot of figure 8 experience. I gotta ask, does that at all play into how you're able to hold a line so well in this class and defend?
No, it's just my dad and my brothers telling me what to do, basically.
I feel like that'd be a yes to my question. All right, Hawk. Put on a good show out there. How old are you?
I'm 13.
So 13 years old. You got another year here if you choose. What's the plan once you move on out of this division?
Going to Stinger 8s, maybe figure 8, if I can get me a car.
Yeah, who would have guessed? And who helped you get that 35J here to the track?
My mom, my dad, Hunter for driving me here tonight, Wish Printing, Mazda of Everett, Pape, yeah.
Driver 35J, 2nd place tonight, Hawk Jenkins. You put yourself in a very good position when you got into that restart and very quickly made that move to the inside. What's going through your head when you have that quick moment, that single opportunity to make a pass like that?
If it's open, just take it because it's not going to be open next lap.
Hey, that's fair enough. And how old are you?
14.
So, 14, end of the road in the Youth Hornet class. Where are you heading next year?
Mini stocks, hopefully.
That's sure to be exciting, a very exciting class already, and more talent in it, to say the least. Who helped you get out that 23 here?
DL Enterprises, my mom, my dad, my grandma, and grandpa.
Driver the number 23, Alexis Tubbs, race winner in the Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornets.
Welcome back. It's championship night number 1 here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. I'm Caleb Hart. He is Ben Iman. And this is not necessarily an Evergreen Speedway Track Championship, but it is the Series Championship for the Pro 4 trucks who are here, like we were saying off air, Ben. This is their Phoenix. So it's time to crown the Series champion for the year. It's a good points battle coming into it between McKenna Cox and Calvin Miller. We're about to see how it all shakes out here on Home Track Heroes. On the pole for this one, the 8 truck is Shane Green out of Snohomish, and the 2 truck is Mason Warren out of Cooley, sponsored by Mazak.
We'll see the 05, that's Eric Angeles. He starts alongside the 4 of Pete Brady out of Tacoma, sponsored by OK Produce.
Row number 3 is Rod Helmuth in the 30 truck. Next to him, the 26 truck is Cole Cooey out of Snohomish, sponsored by Gearhart Trucking.
The 49 is Calvin Miller Miller, and he's out of Arlington. Your points battle start alongside each other. The 24, McKenna Cox, out of Arlington, sponsored by Flynn Carpet Center.
Row number 5, Greg Vaughn out of Arlington, sponsored by The Alley. Next to him, it is Cody Cooey. Truck number 46 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Gearhart Trucking.
The 35, starting in potentially his first ever, we believe, Pro 4 truck race, Ricky Dietz, sponsored by Tony V's Garage. The normal Outlaw figure 8 driver looks to the oval, and starting alongside the driver making his final Pro 4 truck start, the 21 of Nick Nicholson Jr.
And behind them, it's the 16 of Evan Tips out of Everett. Boness Family Racing, that's a name, Ben, that you might not be familiar with, but a lot of racing families will be, is Dick Boness, one of the driving forces behind Spanaway Speedway back in the day, and this Pro 4 truck group that's been around for quite a while. Dick was a part of the inception and promoting of it, so Boness Family Racing, good to see that last name. Been a minute since I saw it, so we are up and running. Green flag is out for the Pro 4 Truck Series Championship.
It's a great getaway for the 8 of Shane Green. Looks like Mason Warren also looks to follow through. Angela's not finding a ton of speed on the low lane.
Oh, a little truck-to-truck action coming off the corner as you see the 2 of Warren getting the front bumper in behind him, and I believe that was Helmuth that was up there laying the lumber to him. No, actually it was the 4 of the defending Truck Series champ, Pete Brady, who was up there trying to nudge him out of the way. To the bottom in the 49 truck goes Calvin Miller, who needs to outrace Cox to pick up this championship. Cox in the 24 truck in behind her as we're 3 wide. Getting into turn number 1, something's got to shake loose, and it's Brady moving up to the middle. That is the shaker looser in that scenario.
Yeah, Calvin Miller's trying to move this way forward. Now it's got Brady in front of him, but McKenna Cox, they started right alongside each other. Just tiptoeing, following him through. He's going to need to put some gap between the 2 of them, I think, if that driver wants to have a chance in the 49. Calvin Miller will go on board with that driver, Calvin Miller.
We've seen Miller be a jack of all trades here at Evergreen Speedway. He is absolutely fantastic in figure 8 action. Seen him in a street stock now. Dedicated this season to the Pro 4 truck, because we haven't seen him do his normal jump around and race a bunch of different vehicles kind of thing. So Miller, you get the in-car from the Brandy Hood Promotions camera. Our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. As up for the top spot, that's a bid for the lead between Green and Angelus.
Yeah, those 2 giving each other some work. McKenna Cox down the inside of Calvin Miller. Miller's going to try to come alongside the 4 of Pete Brady, making the outside line work. Not a line that many drivers have favored here at Evergreen Speedway so far. Now Miller might be trying to go the outside of Angelus. Taking the long way around is the jack of all trades.
And in this instance, the trucks handle and accelerate a little bit different than your typical stock cars will do. So you'll see a lot more of them go to the middle and try the high side at times, especially if you get some moisture down out there. Now that gets really interesting, the truck racing in the rain. Out front, it's Green, but battling his way into second is Miller, and he is bringing his championship contender McKenna Cox with him as it's a 3-truck freight train around the outside.
Yeah, it looks like they'll finally clear. Miller might look to dip towards the inside, gets right up on the bumper of the 8. Now gives him a little bumper, some contact for the lead. Calvin Miller's, he's got to act quickly, he's got to act fast, and he's got to put some trucks in between him and Cox. And fortunately, I think there's really only 1 truck to put between him and Cox, but he clears him out of turn 2. Calvin Miller to the lead.
Yeah, for every good step that Calvin Miller is making, McKenna has been able to match him up until now, although she's got a nice line underneath the 8 truck of Green. Into the corner, Miller gets one, McKenna gets one. They've been in lockstep this whole way with 21 laps in to go. It's Cox now second, chasing down Calvin.
Yeah, this really has been their track too. Especially for this season. So I'm not surprised that these 2 drivers has made their way forward. It's Miller coming across the line, continuing, just going to have to look for something else now. Not sure what more he can do except for just put the foot down and drive away and hope something happens behind him.
And that's just the thing. McKenna came in with a pretty sizable pad on the points lead, so all you can control is yourself. Miller has done everything he could do to get to the front. Now he's got to be hoping for some kind of mechanical malfunction on the 24 truck, which right now isn't happening. However, there's still 19 laps to go around our 3/8 oval.
Yeah, knock on wood. We know what us commentators can do to cars when they turn the oval, and that is a lot, apparently.
Now, in this case, and given the nature, the Cox family is full of champions around here in this division and big supporters of Evergreen Speedway. We don't want to levy the whammy.
No,
That'd be
not
bad.
at all.
That
No,
would
not
be
at all.
bad in this instance. So.
I agree.
Miller has got a decent size advantage over McKenna at the moment. About, I don't know, 5-6 trucks worth of space. By the way, good job not using the CAR word when describing these so far. That costs you $1 every time you do that.
And I think I've only done it once, so.
No, I don't think I got to fine you anything yet. We'll turn to the judges at the end of the race to find out your official fine amount.
All right.
So, Pete Brady trying to use the outside, working on Angelus as we go 2x2 down the front straightaway. There's been action all throughout this field so far. It's been fun.
Yeah, we talked about how these trucks, you mentioned, they handle different, they drive different. That outside line, we see the 4 of Brady follow through clear green. It's working for these trucks. It hasn't worked for the street stocks. It hasn't worked for the mini stocks. Some of our late model drivers have had minimal success out there, but these trucks, if you want to pass, you're taking the high side.
That's right. It is apparently the faster way around the racetrack here for them. As you're taking a look, that's one of the 2 Coeys. It is the 26, which is Cole Coey, working to the inside of Angelus, trying to shuffle him backwards. Green's been down there on the bottom line the entire time. It has not gotten off the low side, and now he has got Team Coey, who looks poised to strike Green into the middle off of turn number 2. And will we see 2 Coeys, 1 spot coming up here?
They were 3 wide, but we're going to turn back to this battle of Helmuth and Brady as the caution flag is out. It looks like Mason Warren spun around. Mason Warren, the 2 there, looks like draws the caution.
And you know, as good as our Seattle 11 camera crew is, unfortunately, they did not snag that one. So back here to the booth for a couple of seconds as we're, ripping through these laps. It's one thing that these Pro 4 trucks have is very, very powerful 4-cylinder built motors. It's not stock. They're allowed to do a lot within this engine compartment in these trucks. So we'll come back to green. It's Miller versus Cox in the restart. This is bad news for Calvin Miller because McKenna Cox has got a big run going into 1, and they are door panel to door panel through the middle of the corner.
Yeah, a huge run, these 2 drivers side by side out of 2. This is your championship battle, duking it out. 1 and 2, Calvin Miller still trying to do everything he can, and that includes defending from McKenna Cox off the line.
Oh, look out! Squirrely behind him is Helmuth in the 30 truck we've seen here at Evergreen Speedway in a bunch of different race cars.
Oh!
And McKenna gonna go around in the middle, does not end up getting tagged by anybody. It's a huge break for her. A DNF could have been potentially horrendous for a points chase. Let's take a look at the in-truck camera and find out how it went down. And the chain reaction starts with Vaughn getting into the back of the trucks in front of him and flying the hood up. So there's his point of view. Let's take the up top shot.
Looks like Cox just trying to come around. I don't know. Just doesn't look like there was any contact between the 2 drivers up front. So, man, whatever that was that sent McKenna Cox around, unfortunate, but I don't think there'll be any major issues. Let's take a look at this shot.
Into the corner, just a little overcorrection coming off the corner, got into the right rear quarter panel of the Miller truck. So, a break for Calvin Miller. The 2 of Warren ends up okay. As we're going to go back to it now, McKenna Cox is going to the rear of the field here with less than half the race left to go in the Pro 4 trucks here on Home Track Heroes. Back to action on the track as we get ready for the restart. Our segment is brought to you by Central Welding. Their supplies mission of excellent service hasn't changed since 1975. Locally owned. Larger inventory and an expert staff makes the difference at 27 locations. Find one near you at centralwelding.com.
Looks like we are rolling again. Calvin Miller, good jump. Oh, problems for Pete Brady. Got into some of the grass. And that's the 35. Ricky Dietz coming out of nowhere. Moving that truck forward up into the top 5 into 4th. The rookie. air quotes around that, because I don't think
Yeah.
it's really fair to call him a rookie with how much
Big air
seat tame
quotes.
he has. But by classifications, by the way, that is something that we did not note. He was required to start near the tail end of the field due to him being a technical rookie in the field.
Well, I can tell you the number of times I've seen Ricky Dietz circle tracking, and that number is 0 up until right now. Now, if you've been around for a little bit longer, you might have caught a time or two doing something else, but for me and my not extensive, but starting to get there history, I've never seen Ricky on the 3/8 before, so all right, I get it. And he's moving forward in that STP-esque themed truck. Looks good.
Yeah, that 35 is moving. Good run for Ricky. Well, I'll take a look. Rod Helmuth, Pete Brady, that's your top 3 at the moment. We're watching the 24 trying to move that truck back forward. McKenna Cox just trying to claim spots back. I don't think Calvin Miller has enough at the moment.
Well, and even then, with the little attrition that there's been here in the field, a spot or 2 should be more than enough for McKenna to still feel pretty secure in this one, as she's going to work to the outside of the 05 truck of Angelus. Their door panel, the door panel coming off the corner, and McKenna just like that going to move up. I'm going to say 7th. Yeah, we'll give her 7th at the line, and that should be more than enough to get her back into the comfort zone of her points lead.
Yeah, that's probably still, you know, Calvin Miller, I think everything broke exactly how he needed, other than the fact that McKenna Cox was able to keep the truck on track and continuing to move continuing to move her way forward. Calvin Miller cannot move his way any more forward. He's leading the race.
So Cox trying to run up the back of the 8 of green here as we're down to 6 laps to go. It's been a great performance from Miller out front. That battle for second starting to stretch out. Rod Helmuth over Pete Brady in the 2nd and 3rd spot. Back down to 6 laps to go as Cox making the bid. She's looking for 6th, and she's got it off of turn 2.
Yeah, good run there. Right now, this race is all Calvin Miller, and you can see that huge gap back to Rod Helmuth, and then there's Pete Brady. That's your top 3. Looks like we got a Cooey and Dietz battling out. 46, Cody Cooey, Ricky Dietz side by side through turn 1 and 2. We'll see how aggressive Ricky Dietz is willing to get. I know that truck is for sale. You don't want to tear it up too much, but the figure 8 racer inside of him, I'm sure, doesn't want to cede any ground ever.
Oh, no, they strap in. They're here to try to go out and win, and you don't want to cede a single position no matter what. Rolling around, just a hair underneath the middle groove, but Cooey made a really strong bid to push Ricky up racetrack, and now Ricky, we'll see how he likes running around the outside with a little banking in it as opposed to the flat outside around the figure 8 track.
He got into maybe a little bit of contact there. Here comes McKenna Cox wanting to claim at least another spot, if not 2 more, to make her way forward. It's like she's going to clear Dietz. Ricky Dietz slipping off the back of Cooey. He's still hanging in there, still on the top side. And there's the clear. McKenna Cox takes another spot forward, continuing just to move her way forward, just claiming that spot. She's well within the comfort zone, as we mentioned. Calvin Miller has done all he could, but one more white flag.
Been a march back to the front for McKenna Cox. Calvin Miller is looking to take, he's looking to win the battle, but the war is going to go to McKenna as we are 1 more lap around for the Pro 4 trucks. 2, 3, and off the 4th turn, checkered flag will fly. Calvin Miller is going to take the victory here in the Pro 4 trucks. Long ways back. Helmuth will take 2nd and give Brady 3rd. The champion is McKenna Cox, joining her dad, Steve Cox, as track champions here at Evergreen Speedway. More Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11 coming up next.
Well, Pete, that was an amazing race to watch from up in the booth. Lots of chaos, lots of excitement. You're weaving in and out, whether it be with Rod or with Shane. What is it like from the driver's perspective in those moments?
It's awesome.
That's fair enough. You guys travel all across the West, whether that be in Canada, whether it be here or in Idaho. How do you feel about here at Evergreen Speedway specifically?
Oh, Evergreen Speedway is my favorite track ever. How's everybody doing tonight?
That's what we like to hear. Came home 3rd place tonight. Who helped you get that truck?
Chris Melvin, Mark Northcutt Jr., Matthew Kane, Gasket Guys and Gals, OK Produce, Brady's Welding, there we go.
Driver of the number 4, your 3rd place finisher tonight, that's Pete Brady. You guys travel all across. Rod, what is your opinion here of the 3/8 oval?
It's my home. Won a lot of races here, and every time I come here, I seem to do well, so I'll take a second.
I feel like that experience was really showing through tonight. You were weaving in and out of all that traffic, dodging the incidents that occurred around you. Here, you're an experienced driver. You know the 3/8 oval well. What is it like racing with this young talent coming up like Calvin and McKenna?
Like 45 years. I mean, they're great drivers. They're our next generation. They're doing great.
And who would you like to thank for getting that 30 truck here tonight?
Boness Family Racing, they sponsored me the whole year. Paulson Auto, he's been letting me use his shop to fix the car, the truck. My crew, Roger and Jesse Gonzalez, without them I wouldn't be here. And my wife for letting me do this again.
Driver the number 30, Rod Helmuth, second tonight. You've been in so many different pieces of equipment out here at Evergreen Speedway, whether that be a super stock figure 8, a Stinger 8, a Hornet, a street stock. What does the truck feel like compared to those?
It's really hard to explain. They're really forgiving, and if you got good people in the pits, Steve, Dawson, Cox, they can get it to handle. You can put it from the fourth groove to the first, wherever you want it to go, and it's really enjoyable when it's like that. It's fun when the handle's good.
You made a lot of bold moves real quickly there, making your way down the inside line and just holding your lane, putting the car where you needed to. What gives you the confidence to do that?
I didn't really have a plan coming in tonight. I was going to put the truck on the high side if they were fast up there. I was going to stay on the bottom if they went, and I was at the right place at the right time every time, and it worked out in my favor. I got to the front early and was able to hold it after a couple restarts, and overall it was a great night.
And what sponsors would you like to thank for making this possible?
Precision Forestry, Northwest Poly Services, Cox Wheels Racing, Brandy Hood Promotions, my mom and dad and my sister, and my grandma and grandpa, everybody that comes out here to help me on the truck and then support me.
Driver the number 49, he is your race winner, Calvin Miller. All righty, there's smiles all around. It's been a long season. It comes to a conclusion here. You're a champion. How's it feel?
Pretty good. I don't think it's set in yet, but pretty good.
It's a long season. You travel all across the West. What is the secret to the consistency required to take home this title?
Mainly a good support system. My family just helping me with everything. Putting in a Honda motor really helped. Blew up 3 motors last year, so switching to the Honda really helped.
And who would you like to thank for getting this 24 here to the top of it all?
My dad, my brother, who couldn't be here, but I wish he was. John Bender for being my spotter today, Northwest Boilers, the fans. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of people, but everyone that just has helped along the way.
Driver of the number 24, your 2024 Pro 4 Truck Champion, McKenna Cox.
Well, there's a good look at the Cox family, minus Dawson Cox, who I believe was washing his hair this night. But last 5 seasons for the Coxes, Steve Cox and Dawson Cox, champions in 2020 mutually, Superstock Figure 8s and Stinger 8s. Steve was a Superstock Figure 8 championship in 2021, and here 2024, McKenna Cox gets the Pro 4 Truck Championship. So congratulations to them. As we are ready to move on, Home Track Heroes on the air. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Ben Iman. And these are the BECU mini stocks. Ben, who's on the course for us here?
Well, on the pole, we'll see the 12 car of Gavin Ballou. He's out of Marysville, sponsored by Absher Build LLC, starting alongside the 81 of Bobby Fisher out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington.
Row number 2 is Travis Woodward out of Lake Stevens, the Bravo Pizza in Snohomish 16, and the Tire Pros of Arlington, number 18J of Jackson Beckel out of Snohomish.
The 26 is Jimmy Absher. He's out of Marysville, sponsored by MPM Welding and Fabrication. We'll start alongside the 4 car of Cole Raridan. Raridan's out of Granite Falls, sponsored by Full Throttle Graphics.
It is the 24 of Jalen Vick, starting 7th, sponsored by Tom's Automotive. Next, Tim Austin Kramer out of Snohomish, the Northwest Security and Sound, number 14.
Randy Dittmers is in the 61 out of Snohomish, sponsored by ATR Andrew Struck Repair. And the X14, that's Christine Hill out of Linwood, sponsored by twitch.tv/xChristine.
Paisley Bender, the 18 out of Snohomish. Strideline Socks sponsors her. 11 cars, 30 times around the 3/8. The championship battle is Jackson Beckel in the 18J with Bobby Fisher chasing him in the 81 as we're off and running. Green flag here on this main event on Home Track Heroes, brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Well, the 81, a quick getaway. This is what Bobby Fisher needs. Not good news for the 81 is that Jackson Beckel started right beside him. Going to need another sizable gap of cars between these two. Jackson Beckel came in a nice amount of points in the good, and Cole Raridan's charging that forward. You can see that car and the 12 car almost identical out on the track. But
yeah, Cole has been wicked quick since that car came out a couple of races ago, and you can see he is already figuring it out. There's Absher, who is always super fast, the wild man, coming into the corner. Back in the corner up, catching up to the rear end as he's going to go trying to chase down Reardon down the back straightaway. Mini stock division has been all kinds of interesting all over 2024, has it not?
Yeah, these drivers have been really showing what they've had. Two rookies battling out for a points championship. Cole Raridan's been an interesting late season addition to this class. You know, he subbed in for Gavin Blue. Gavin Blue obviously got into a little bit of an injury, so he sidelined him for a few weeks. Stepped into that car and did solid, but turned from go-karting, put the car together, and has just been wicked quick ever since. Is Jimmy Absher around Jackson Beckel.
Beckel, you can see him kind of taking it conservative, willing to let guys going behind him. Love tap to Absher. Absher going to spin down the back straightaway and points towards the infield. Just 4 laps into it as the car got loose after the tap, and around the back straightaway he goes. So Absher will take a look from the Brandy Hood Promotions in-car camera here. Oh, yeah, grabbing for the steering wheel, gets her back, and doesn't end up. And, yeah, I can't imagine the two of them are going to be exchanging Christmas cards.
No, that was tough little hit. You can see Beckel gets underneath Absher, I think just makes contact with the left rear tire there, and nothing the 26 could do. Around he goes.
So we will regroup this field just a few laps into this one here in the BECU mini stocks. Up front, Bobby Fisher, who is chasing for a points title here, and it looks like he's got a couple of spots of pad, in fact more than a couple of spots of pad now over Jackson Beckel. We'll see how it shakes out as we go back to green.
Yeah, this is what Bobby Fisher needs now. He's going to have to keep this lead and kind of have to hope that maybe the 18J isn't able to make his way truly forward. The 18J has been wicked quick this year, so it's not going to be easy for Bobby Fisher by any means. Going to need to keep Cole Raridan behind him as well. That's also not going to be easy. That 4 car is, I think, by far the fastest car in the field.
Take a look at it. There's Travis Woodward passing for position on the outside. He's worked his way into 4th and in behind Baloo. From Woodward's point of view, on the right-hand side of the screen, we got to thank BECU. This is the class sponsor of the mini stocks, who've had a fantastic year. Boeing Employee Credit Union believes in people over profit. BECU, altogether different. BECU, the proud sponsor of our mini stock class.
While you're thinking BECU, Cole Raridan's looking to make the long way round run on Bobby Fisher. Side by side, those two. Sticking it out. Who will keep the foot in the gas longer? Still side by side, not enough to clear, but great speed for Raridan out of the turn. Cole Raridan at the line, your new race leader.
Nice job. Raridan hangs onto her through the middle groove of 1 and 2 and opens it up by 4 car lengths on Fisher down the back straightaway. Raridan, Fisher, and Baloo 1 through 3. As they continue rolling, you see the green lights blinking on the in-car camera from Woodward, who entering just a half groove lower than Baloo. I love this in-car shot, especially from where that's mounted, so you get a real idea of truly how far up on the racetrack and how far down on the racetrack these drivers are getting within the corners themselves.
Yeah, big shout out to Brandy Hood Promotions, all the in-car cams coming from her. We did, while this was happening, we said we've lost Jimmy Absher. Whatever happened in that car shook it up, and he has taken pit road and exited this race, which means that's just another spot for the 18J, and that's not good news for Bobby Fisher.
No, indeed. We have got to take a time out here in the season championship edition of Home Track Heroes. We'll be back with more of the BECU mini stock main event after this timeout. Back we are on Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. He's Ben Iman. I'm Caleb Hart. Our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. As we've got 10 laps to go in the BECU Mini Stock main event, and Travis Woodward is moving forward. He has just picked up third after our commercial break.
Yeah, good run for Travis Woodward in that 16. Been trying to be as consistent as possible in that car. Been around near these top 5 spots a lot. Also, it's been a good run for Jalen Vick in the 24. He's battling it out for 5th and looking to move his way forward.
That car has gotten consistently faster week in and week out. If I remember correctly on my notes, I heard that brother and former mini stock champion Jonah Vick actually jumped in that car for hot laps and practice and helped him out a little bit. Is Austin Kramer hanging out by the blue stripe on the 5/8 at that point in time. Caution flag coming out.
Oh.
Big smoke off the right front of Kramer. Take a look at it. You're looking for fluid stripe, but I can't see anything, at least as of right now. So he'll exit stage right, and we'll regroup this bunch. Now, we had a points battle coming into this. Jackson Beckel was leading Bobby Fischer. Fischer is your race leader, but through attrition, Beckel has been able to pick some spots back up. We believe, restarting about 6th at the moment. He should be pretty well safe here.
Yeah, 6th will make him safe. With Jimmy Apsher returning, that'll be good news for Bobby Fischer, but he's really got to get Cole Reardon on this restart. He can't really afford to lose any more cars out of this field. I think Austin Kramer, not returning, that might already be enough for Jackson Beckel to walk in with his championship. Vic and Ballou.
Ballou around Vic, a part of it, as we did, I'm being told, to get a couple of looks at how this went down. So tough for Gavin and tough for Jalen as well as they come through the corner. And there you see what it looks like when all of a sudden, the car is facing the wrong direction.
Go on board Paisley Bender here. Just looks like, I'm not,
Well, at speed, at corner exit, it doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, you take a look here from Vic's perspective, and almost to that point from that angle, it looked like Ballou might have started coming without contact first, in and through, got through the corner and around, so.
I think Vic did actually a really good job of avoiding as much contact as.
Oh, boy. I said Bobby Fischer was the leader. I was wrong. Cole Reardon was the leader at that point, and Cole's not able to get restarted here. So my apologies on the misspeak, but Cole Reardon, race leader, can't get the car back up and going, and as strong as he has been since coming out, that is just rough for Cole.
That is crushing to see Cole Reardon have to exit this thing.
One more spot for Jackson Beckel, and at this point he is sitting pretty so long as he can roll that car home and into, basically into the trailer intact. So we'll see how this goes down. Green back out. It is going to be Fischer retaking the lead. Woodward 2, Beckel 3, and off the corner, Beckel might be 2 again.
Yeah, this is a good run. These two cars side by side into the entry. Beckel's got the low line. Woodward pushed up high. That will probably go Jackson Beckel's way off the corner exit. In fact, it does. But, good run for Woodward trying to keep it active and equal as best as he can, but will eventually, I think, succumb to the 18J.
So Woodward now sits in position number 3. Vic is 4. Apsher, a bunch of laps down. He sat in the pit area for a long time, and you can see the hood off that car. I wonder was that they were, trying to fix up on it before he got back out.
Flying.
Well, racing motivated, I would imagine, as, that is not your 4th place car. He's a number of laps down, but certainly 4th in line at this point in time, and looking at the back of Travis Woodward.
Yeah, trying to maybe, if he can pick up a lap back, I think that would be some sort of success if he could get back to the front of this field and get around Bobby Fischer. But Bobby Fischer is doing what he can do right now. He's leading the race coming into the night. It's what he had to do. Here comes the run on Jackson Beckel for Apsher.
And if you'll remember, these are the two cars that tangled. Apsher down to the inside, and he'll let that car drift up a little bit, and Beckel gave him a whole lot of pillow in between the two of them.
Yeah, I think Jackson Beckel just wants nothing more to do with that. But some tough, good run out of the 18J. I'm not sure he had really anywhere to go. Got kind of boxed in.
Did he check up?
I don't know.
He might have checked up there.
I don't know, but anyway, I think Jackson Beckel's just kind of gonna step back a little bit and just.
Championships last forever. He's in bring it home mode here, so wants no piece of anything that could get him in some trouble. He'll come up on the back end of Absher, and again, Absher is a lap down at this point, that multiple laps, like 16 laps down at this point in time. As Woodward content to sit in the third spot, although he's soaked up a lot of ground on Jackson at this point in time, with 3 laps left.
Yeah, Bobby Fischer's been able just to kind of take off and take a run away from the group right now. Again, Jackson Beckel, I think he just doesn't want to go any further back in the field. Not really under threat championship points-wise right now where he sits.
No, he's riding right now. He is out there just cool. Car's safe, nose is clean, we're good. 1 to go. Fisher, your race leader. Got to thank PRCBD, Swing by PRCBD in Arlington. For all your CBD questions or needs for people, bets, and more, go to prcbd.com and use the promo code RACE. Bobby Fischer looking to finish out his rookie season with a win and second in points. He will do that with style. Checker flag out. Jackson Beckel finishes it out in second in a championship. Rookies 1 and 2. Travis Woodward takes third. As let's get a look that field, and here is Jackson Beckel pulling in to victory lane as your championship winner. And he'll put some of that rubber down. Good thing he's got some friends at Tire Pros to hook it back up.
Burning it down, Jackson Beckel. Back-to-back years, back-to-back championships. Different divisions, however. Last year's Stinger 8 champion proves he can do it on the ovals, too. Jackson Beckel will claim this mini-stock title.
Well done for Jackson. And then, again, hat tip to Bobby Fischer, who raced him hard all year long. Those two back and forth, neck and neck. The guy getting the championship, though, is Jackson Beckel stepping out of the car. He is a tall drink of water as he stands up on her and getting his kudos. Now, as you're taking a look at it, we have got some drivers and folks having words, and there are going to be some suspensions coming out at the end of this. That is one of Absher's crew guys, we understand. So let's go down to victory lane and talk to the drivers down there.
Well, Travis, it's been a night. It was certainly a race. You've been doing this a very long time, and you and I are going to keep talking through this. You've been doing this a very long time. You've seen a lot. Last year was a very good season for you. You pulled out your first win in the mini stock competition. This year, while you never quite got to that level of achievement, you're still the third place finisher. You still had a great, very consistent season. How's that feel?
First thing, congratulations to Jackson. Racing him all year was fun. Losing my voice. Other than that, we didn't have a real good year mechanically wise, so we did what we did. This last 3 races, we were testing a new motor out. Obviously, we got to do a little more work, but I think we're going to be good for next year. All I can say is bring it on.
I'll let you save your voice. Who helped you get this number 16 out here this year and to a third place points finish?
I got to thank Jim Heller, Terry, Kevin, Jake, my wife, Maddie, Avery, Jay Braden. I mean, these guys are here every weekend with me.
Driver the number 16, third place tonight. That is Travis Woodward. I think it's fair to call it tumultuous, but looking on the bright side, while the season has had its ups, its downs, you started it with a win. You're going to end it with a win. That is something to feel good about.
When I was running around out there getting close to the end, I thought I might start it with a broken axle and end it with a broken axle. But hey, I'll take a win and a win any day of the week.
You put on a good show out there. All year long, as a rookie, you've come into this division and shown how good you are under a 4-cylinder car. How are you feeling going into next year?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll be back next year. I got a lot of stuff going, and this requires a lot of time and money, and I don't know if I can continue, but we'll see what happens in the offseason.
We hope to see you back here at the very least. Who helped to get that number 81 out here all season?
Hey, huge shout out to Raritan Racing. He helped me build the car. It's been a heck of a year. We did our best. We come in wanting to build a car that could compete, and we did it. I'm super happy to end with a win. Tire Pros of Arlington, J2 Racing, Gary Fisher Construction, Kellicott Landscaping, Full Throttle Graphics, Case Crochet, Timber and Tegan Bjornson for loaning me the car. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be out here at all. So appreciative, and we'll get this car dialed in for them next year.
Driver of the number 81, second in points, first tonight, that's Bobby Fisher. Well, he's done something very, very few can claim to have done. He's won it on the 8, now he's a champion on the 3/8. Your mini stock champion, Jackson Beckel.
Never does. No.
All right, Jackson, last year you were a Stinger 8 driver. You put on the season of a lifetime, you won that. You dominated that series. This year, as a rookie, you stepped behind the wheel of an oval car. You're a mini stock driver now. You started the season figuring that out. You're gonna end it here, #1 champion. What's it like?
You know, to have 2 championships by the time you're 18, it feels pretty good. I don't know. All the people I race with, all you guys, this is why we do it. It was an up and down season. I don't know.
I gotta ask, you are a 2-time champion now, but you are one of the very few 2-time champions on 2 different surfaces, on the figure 8 and now on the 3/8. Does that mean anything special to you?
Oh yeah, to go from a front wheel drive Integra on the figure 8 to a rear wheel drive Mustang on the 3/8, it's a big jump. They're very different cars, and you know, I just got to thank John for giving me the rides, and yeah.
Who else helped you make that big jump?
Oh, John Bender and the whole JBR crew, Wayne, Dave. The Stork boys, Craig with the setup, Riley, Paisley, you guys are a big help, and all the moms for you guys bringing all the food, keeping my belly full. Big Scott at the shop, loading the trailer, all that help. PRCBD, Joel, you guys are a big help, thank you. Tire Pros and Fast Eddie, you guys are a big help this year. If you need tires, anything, go to Tire Pros. Bill Hunt for building me one motor. 2.5 Men Barbecue, always keeping me full there too. Augie with PDM, help me out with tires and setup and all that. Joe's Racing, Cox Wheels Racing, you guys are a big help. Joe really helped me out after the first race. BCU for supporting us with the whole class. Strideline Socks, Doug and Tracy Hobbs, all the Evergreen crew, all of you guys, and yeah.
Your BECU mini stock champion, Jackson Beckel.
Well, I don't know about you, Ben, but it was good to see some of the drivers and folks adhering to the rule. Don't fight in the pits, fight in the front straightaway, and we'll give you $50.
Exactly.
So, that'll do it. Congratulations, Jackson Beckel, on your championship in the BECU Mini Stocks. Let's move on. INX Legends on track, and Braden Wager on the pole for this one. The 30B out of Camino Island, sponsored by Dirt Cheap Sewer. Next, Tim Dylan Wolf, the 43 from Auburn, sponsored by Quality Quick Lube and Tune.
The 40 is Samantha Schwartz from Mercer Island, sponsored by Sharp Transportation, starting alongside your points leader, Kyle Lang, out of the 33 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Phillips Law Firm.
Third row, Dakota Gruchala, sponsored by Weatherright Roofing, in the 27 out of Snohomish, and out of Issaquah's, the 19 of Jaden Luce.
The 10S tonight is Shane Sawin out of Snohomish, and the 68, Kaylee Deckers out of Duval, sponsored by Lewis and Maine.
Fifth row, the Weatherright Roofing 10 of Chris Thompson out of Snohomish. Josh Velock, the 76C out of Edmonds, sponsored by Burgess Construction, your Washington deck builder.
The 11M, Rick McNeil's out of Bellevue, sponsored by Optimus Construction. Starts alongside the 13, Jeremiah Johnson out of Linwood, sponsored by LB Motorsports.
Travis Blivens is the 99 from Stanwood, sponsored by Macefield Hoisting Services, and 37 Mason Nelson out of Pacific, sponsored by TriMed Ambulance.
The 65, Nathan Adams is out of Monroe, sponsored by Brian Estrin. The 20s, Damian Harris out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Flow Master Gutters.
Row behind them, Davis Jacobson in the 15D out of Bonnie Lake, sponsored by Evergreen Concrete Cutting, and the 86 of Jeff Mueller.
The 55, Bella Luce out of Issaquah, the 19X of Brian Grant round us out.
All right, there's your field. We're ready to go for the Legends. As they come around the corner, green flag out. Kyle Lang would have to encounter catastrophe here, I believe, even just by starting the main, he locked it up. Close to,
Close to, but Braden Wager is going to give him a good run for it, I'm sure.
Never count out any of the drivers here in the Legends class as something inevitably odd happens. You never see a race that's just straightforward in the Legends division, that's for sure. Look out, Travis Blivens says, I hate that right front quarter panel. And we get our first caution of it. He's already got the steering wheel off the 99 car.
Yeah, unfortunate for Travis Blivens hitting that inside wall. We'll go on board Damian Harris. You see Blivens some contact. Oh.
Yeah, got the wrong end of that. Is that McNeil who drifted up? Taking a look at it, yep, sure is. Blivens just kind of skids into the wall and knocks the right front and a whole lot more off the front. Good look at the suspension in the right front of that Legend car as well. Shock and coilover spring hanging out there. So
I'm sure Travis Blivens would have preferred not to bend the demo for that, though.
Nope, Travis definitely would not, as we have got a lap in. Hey, we got a lap in. And 29 to go. Dylan Wolf, front row with Kyle Lang, top four unchanged. Wager and Schwartz sitting in behind him.
Yeah, we'll see these drivers try to make their way forward. Dylan Wolf's been, that 43, steadily getting faster and faster. Been seeing it on the podium a lot as this year's go on. So that 43, no slouch up front. Wager's been, of course, sitting second in points. It's a good restarting class towards the front. Shane Sawin in the 10S Benz competitive. Also have to shout out Jaden Luce, also picking up a lot of speed in that 19. So a lot of the fast cars to the front of the field here for the Legends.
You know, we don't get to see the Sawin Legends here all that often, and we really don't get to see Shane behind the driver's seat as he's usually crew chiefing on those cars. So nice to see a familiar face from Evergreen Speedway days of yore back out and competing. To the inside, Luce looking for spots as it's the white car parade starting to the inside, but there is Lang, bid for the lead in turn number one. Wolf will turn him away as they come through.
Kyle Lang doesn't just want to win this championship, he wants to win it emphatically, and if he can claim this win tonight and put the stamp on the year, I'm sure that would send the 33 home happy.
To the inside again, bid for the top spot on Wolf. Wolf has to seed the bottom groove to him going in through the corner, and Kyle Lang, like that, up into the lead in the 33 car.
Dylan Wolf's not going to let him have it just so easily, though. That 43 is going to keep on the back bumper and keep trying to hit the line. It's going to maybe shoot down the inside, but the Phillips Law Firm 33 has been fast all year, and I'm not surprised that it is out towards the front to start here, and a big gap starting to open up between the leaders in the field.
You'll look at it, Lang is going to try to just absolutely escape. That is Decker in the 68, working to the inside of Elox 76 further back in the pack. Down to the inside, can't make the go around. Three cars stacked up in front of them are in positions, I'm going to say 3, 4, 5, maybe 5, 6, 7, or we may have flashed back further, who knows. That is Sawin in the 13. Sawin is 5th, trying to chase down Schwartz and Luce, who are in the 3rd and 4th position.
Yeah, trying to move their way forward. Schwartz and Luce trying to defend from each other. It's a good battle between these three cars, though. The 10 of Shane Sawin trying to make his way forward.
Up until right there, it looks like Luce and Schwartz were kind of running twin laps there as they were just right on each other, turning at the same time, accelerating at the same time. Down at the bottom, there goes Luce, taking the spot. And up into picking up the position. Jaden Luce has been really good here lately and now has a top 3.
Yeah, Jaden Luce, definitely a driver to continue to watch for next season to getting into the battle in this Evergreen Speedway Legends Championship battle. Definitely a car that has picked up speed throughout the year. Probably just built more confidence in that thing. Learned the machine a little bit more track time and more seat time. Obviously, you're going to improve.
The light bulb has gone on for the Jaden Luce machine. We have to take a break, get some commercials out the way we can keep the lights on. More coming up. You're watching Home Track Heroes from Evergreen Speedway on Seattle 11. Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. The INX Legends are on the track. Ben Iman joins me, Caleb Hart, in the commentator's corner here at our scenic Seattle 11 studios here at Evergreen Speedway. While we were at break, Shane Solon took position number 3. Dylan Wolf still sits second. Kyle Lang, your prospective points champion, is out in front. We're watching some battling back in the pack.
Yeah, this is Schwartz, Gruchala, Nelson, and Wager all battling out. I think that's 6th, 7th, 8th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yep.
They'll get down on the 19. That's a lap car at the moment, but you know, Braden Wager second in points, Mason Nelson third in points. That's a good battle between the two of them for who's going to come out behind Kyle Lang as caution's out. Oh, who's that car?
That is the 55 of Bella Luce. So Luce Part 2 ends up spun around. Welcome into the studios. Again, Caleb, Ben, and a big thank you to Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. They have been bringing you Home Track Heroes all year long here on Seattle 11. Couldn't do it without them. Let's double them up. This gives Dylan Wolf a shot to the outside of Kyle Lang, and now the veteran Shane Solon. I called it a 13 car. Apparently it is a 10-star, although from our cameras, a little hard to tell. But gorgeous looking car outside of how hard that number is to figure out. Green flag back out.
Yeah, Kyle Lang gets away easy. Solon down to the low line. Might have a run on Dylan Wolf. Oh, big back out there for the 19. Jaden Luce did not like what he was seeing. Backed out of that one. Settles in. Now side by side, Solon and Wolf. That's for second.
You've heard us talk a lot in this program of how twitchy these cars are, but one of the things that makes them so twitchy is very fast and active throttle response. A little bit of touch and you're into it. You get out of it, the thing decelerates awfully quickly. So it's a benefit, and at the same time, takes a lot of learning. Shane Solon down on the inside is taking Dylan Wolf to school here. Learns him up and drives his way up into second place. So Solon, first time we've seen him race at Evergreen Speedway in a number of years, is in the runner-up spot with 10 laps to go. And let's see if he can play spoiler to the Kyle Lang parade out in front of this.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to use a little tire, a little door panel shove to get his way around Dylan Wolf, but clean running between the two of them. Wolf maybe looked to strike back in that 43, just been getting faster. Loose, not too far behind Schwartz, Nelson. Ooh, you can see them getting a little squirrely, some contact around. And the caution flag is back out.
Yeah, you saw him pointing it until the point where he's like, yeah, we'll toss it. And Josh Vlock is exploring the green grass that we have here at Evergreen Speedway. That's Damian Harris also hanging out. Harris got sideways, got around, and hangs out in the upper groove. Here's from Vlock's perspective, and you can see, nowhere for Josh to go coming in through that corner, and he will take a very extended look at our lovely horticulture.
Yeah, tough break there for Vlock. Looks like Harrison maybe, just a little bump, little spin, collected Vlock, and he's gonna reverse park it at the grocery store, which, if he was at the grocery store, would have been fun.
Well, we'll bring her back to action here. They're going to go 2x2, and now to sit into the outside of Kyle Lang will be Shane Solon. This should be super fascinating as they roll down the back straightaway. Wolf and Luce now in the row behind him. So we'll see how the equation changes with Shane to the outside of Kyle as they'll come off the corner with 9 laps left in the INX Legends main event.
Yeah, this will be a good run. Solon got going pretty quickly. Green flag out, but Kyle Lang, he's just been the car to beat all night. Has had that 33 dialed in so quick. It looks like Wolf's can now have a run back down the inside. Some contact.
Yeah, he muscled up coming through the bottom of the corner. Shane settles, tucks it back into third. Did a good job defending because he's got both Schwartz and Luce right behind him, all over him. We go in car, the Brandy Hood Promotions shot, and that is Mason Nelson, who is running 6th as of the last ticker. And that's an interesting, over the driver's shoulder look. You can see him sawing on the MPI steering wheel that he's got in the car. And that thing is staying turned most of the way around the racetrack. So Mason, a lot of steering input into it, trying to figure out his way to pick his way past Schwartz for 5th.
And Mason Nelson trying to move his way forward, doing the best he can. Right now we've settled into our positions. Lang, Wolf, Solon trying to close the gap. This is the battle Luce and Schwartz, and Mason Nelson's trying to creep up in this one. Maybe looks to go around the high side. Ooh, crossovers maybe. Trying to find any way around the 40, just has not been able to find it so far. Again, trying to battle, looks like Braden Wager for second right now. That's what Mason Nelson's trying to claim.
So with these cars being so low to the ground, little low-profile tires, and you don't have shocks or springs that got a bunch of travel in them, every bump, every articulation, massive within the car. You see how bumpy that ride looks. I promise you, it's not actually that bumpy. It's just the speed and the suspension that these cars have, the packages they got, makes them a little rough rolling around the racetrack. Mason Nelson, it looks like he's got his hands full. He saws on the steering wheel trying to find his way up into fifth.
And just trying to do anything he can. If he can try to move his way forward, these cars all running fairly close together. Gets right to the bumper. Schwartz now looks down towards to see if he can get a run down the inside. Doesn't have one there. Settles in still behind Schwartz. Grachal is all over the back of Mason Nelson. We're just trying to see if anyone can make their way around. We're getting
pointy flag again.
Pointy flag. Pointy flag mean flaggy flag sometimes.
Well, it has twice in a row now. Bella Luce for the second time in the 55 car, having a rough run of it. Couple of looks from our Home Track Heroes video crew, and around goes Bella. No assist necessary. Second look, and same result.
Yep. Tough break for the 55.
So we will go back to action here, and this is a second shot for Sawin. Sorry, not Sawin, it's Wolf going to be on the outside, but it is his second shot as well. As starting the outside of Kyle Lang, time remaining, not a whole bunch, so if anybody's got the rabbit up their hat, 3 to go. Wolf to the outside of Lang, Sawin and Luce in row number 2, Schwartz and Nelson in row number 3.
Yeah, whatever you got to throw at Kyle Lang, now's the time to throw it. It's a good jump. Again, the 33 so quick, protecting that inside line. Dylan Wolf, this might be the best run we've seen anyone had on Kyle Lang off the start of the top.
You see Wolf kind of hugging the middle a little bit more than swinging wide and trying to cut through the corner. He is going to secure second, but Kyle Lang gets away. They have got everything tuned up just right on the 33 car tonight, as Lang, like you said, he's looking to put the definitive stamp on his card, and well, Bella Luce is having a very rough last couple of minutes.
Yeah, another tough break for the 55. Not sure where this one was. Yeah, around it goes.
Turn 3. That's exactly where that was.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, look what I can do. I can spot a corner and a race car spinning out.
Well, you know what? That's more than some people.
Take the low lying fruit, people, announcing 101. So we still have 3 to go. The front of the field is going to look exactly the same. Kyle Lang just got to be consistent here. Do the same thing he's been doing, start after restart after restart. Bringing her home as 2 green we go. Lang and Wolf, everybody the same in behind him.
Yeah, gets down. Ooh, looks like Sawin got jumped here by a couple of cars. Mason Nelson trying to make the high line work, as well as Luce, but Sawin a big good run down the inside, but that's the battle. Dylan Wolf might have the jump on Kyle Lang around the outside. The 43's learning what he's got to do to get to Lang. We've got a car around.
If I were to sound like a repeater of repeating things, it was Bella Luce around. Well,
a real tough few minutes for Bella Luce.
What I'm hoping is that she's taken, you got to think at this point in time, because it's been in turn 3, it's been in turn 2, something's got to be bound up in that race car somewhere, so hopefully they can find whatever it was mechanically on Bella's car, get her all fixed out for the next time she comes out to race with us here at Evergreen Speedway. Again, we'll go after it. Wolf, who had a really good run on Lang, on this one, it doesn't shake out the same way. Solomon, who had dug his way, or was digging his way back to third, he had gotten back to the inside of Luce for the position, and they're calling the start back.
It did not like how that one kind of fanned out. We get from our word from our race officials here, just did not like leader when the front line did not bring them all to the line.
You know what it was, is that we hadn't had enough TV time this episode.
Yeah, I think we just needed to see us more.
So, okay, we don't have to see us anymore, I promise. Lang, Wolf, Solon, Luce, Schwartz, and Nelson.
That's a much better start.
Oh, way better. Now, nobody spin out. Nobody. Please.
Dylan Wolf has a much better run this time around the high line for the 43. This is a good battle. Mason Nelson's trying to follow Sawin through. Will the 37 have a run for third? Did you have to say it? Did you have to say it? That's
not commentator's curse. That's not.
That's the other Luce. That's Jaden Luce.
And I had seen him kind of duck his tires off onto the grass here down the back straightaway. So let's watch it over, and yep. And you get right on that edge of where the paved part is, and it'll just hook you and turn you around. And, well, Jaden Luce unfortunately will give us another shot to practice our starts and restarts.
You know what? Restarting is a useful skill if you are a race car driver. When our friend Derek Todorov talked about he was running his Hornet, he said it was the part he was most worried about. So, some more practice isn't bad.
Well, that's because he'd never driven a manual transmission before, right?
No, his daily driver's a manual transmission.
I don't believe you.
All right, well, you can come see it for yourself.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to. We're coming back to green flag action, hopefully for the final time. I want to see 3 more flags. I want to see a green, a white, and a checkered.
That would be nice.
Is it reasonable?
That would
I think
be.
It's reasonable.
Looks like there was some contact, though, before we started on this one. Someone got into the grass. You might have cursed them again. I'm not sure.
No, don't do it. Don't, please.
Schwarz up into third. Solwyn settles in for fourth, but I'm sure that 10 wants to move its way back forward onto the podium. I think, all right. You know what? Next flag does it, though.
I've
White
seen
flag.
the 2 flags. Nice, big, bold move by Solwyn getting to the inside.
Oh!
No, Samantha around in the corner. And then
Chris Thompson's.
We're kicking one off into the. We're finishing this, though.
Yeah, but we're getting to the line.
But this is going to be like a checkered yellow. All right, guys, look out.
Yeah,
Checkered's out. Lang wins. Wolf 2. Solwyn 3. Well, after a few of those, even the officiating staff kind of wants to finish her off, right? So there we go, and a Kyle Lang victory celebration will put on comparatively a little baby smoke show to what some of the other drivers had been
It's a
able
little
to.
baby car.
And it's got little baby tires. It makes a whole lot of sense. That's getting better, Kyle. What he lacks in big size, he's making up for in volume. Let's go to the Angel Winds Casino Resort podium.
Shane, tough battle. A lot of restarts, a lot of interchanging there, 4 or 5 cars. Just walk me through those final 5 technical laps.
I knew I didn't have a car to beat those guys, and I didn't want to. I don't even think I was faster than the 43, honestly. But that last lap, I knew if I wanted to get up here tonight and show these guys this old man can still drive a race car, that I was going to have to throw it in there that last corner. So that was fun. That was a hell of a race. I had a good time. That was my first time racing a Legend here at Evergreen Speedway, so I might have to come back and do some more of that.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out of here?
I want to thank my spotter, my daughter, who's normally races that car, but let me drive it tonight for fun. So we had a good family finish to the season. Just want to thank her, and thanks everybody for coming out.
Let's give it a third place, Shane Solwyn. Dylan, second place tonight. The podium started to come later this season. What was the biggest thing you learned across this season at Evergreen?
The biggest thing I had learned was just stay patient and just know that you can start off pretty bad, and by the end of the night, it typically works itself out.
And who do you want to thank helping you get out here?
I got to thank my dad for putting up with me and forking out the money for it, and my sister and brother-in-law, Alex Keefe and Doug Keefe, for giving us the shop to do it all in.
Let's give it up. Second place tonight, Dylan Wolf. And now your race winner and your season champion, the 33, Kyle Lang. Kyle, it was in Derek's call. It was in the music as you came across. But after long last, you are an Evergreen Speedway track champion. Just how good does that feel?
Oh, man, it feels great. We got second 3 years in a row, so it feels great to finally be able to get the win.
Yeah, hard race, a lot of cautions, quite segmented. When you're having to drive away and constantly restart, what kind of challenge is that like?
It's a little frustrating that there were so many yellows at the end. I just kind of wanted to get it over with. But, you just have to be on your game each restart and stay in front.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out of here?
Phillips Law Firm, 3rd Gen Race Cars, J2 Racing Parts, Premier Painting, my mom and dad, and Michael Fritz.
All right, one more time. Give it together. Track champion, Kyle Lang!
I dig that when the fans bring signs into the stands and get a chance to bring them down to Victory Lane. Very
Those weren't
cool.
the only ones either. There was like 5 or 6 of them there for specifically for Kyle.
That was super cool. Congratulations, Kyle Lang, on getting the feature win and capping the championship. At the same time, a championship he has been hunting for a very, very long time. Tire Pros Street Stocks are on the track. Chase Jones out of Duval. The Whisper Cool 14's on the pole. Jerry Helms next to him in the Tiger Construction 27 out of Greenbank.
The 03 Blaine Fagerly's out of Redmond. And he's sponsored by Jason at Stingray Auto Repair in Redmond. He starts alongside the 7, Mike Shimmick out of Renton, sponsored by Big Block Brewing.
A third row from Langley, British Columbia, the Harding Motorsports 39 of Stuart Harding, and Adam Monroe in the Millburg-sponsored 69, it's Austin Camp.
The 06, Steve Potasic out of Bothell, sponsored by Lang Auto Parts. He's second in points, looking to move his way into the title. The guy looking to defend it's the 3 of Jesse Jensen out of Snohomish, sponsored by Tire Pros, the shop of Arlington.
Fifth row is Kenny Erickson out of Tulalip, the Central Welding 22, and the veteran from Parts Unknown and the trademark RCS 85, it's Jim Fody.
The 72, Brian Thornborough out of Arlington's in the Omni Contracting Solutions car. Rounding us out the 42, Tony Deegan out of Bothell, sponsored by National Indoor RV Centers.
The division in this segment brought to you by Tire Pros, the official tire dealer of Evergreen Speedway. Tire Pros, your one-stop tire retailer, where honesty is the best policy and they have a hassle-free guarantee. Tire Pros has all the national brands and offers a nationwide warranty on your tires. Go to TirePros.com. The closest points battle we had coming into the night will be settled right here. Jerry Helm in the 27 jumps to the lead, but we are watching row number 4. Steve Potasic's 06 is 8 points behind the 3 of Jesse Jensen. Coming into the night, Shimmick sparking up a storm. Camp giving him some front bumper love as we get the first lap in.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Not only does Steve Potasic need to win, Potasic also needs a couple of spots between him and Jesse Jensen, so he's going to need the field to help him out here a little bit. He can't do it all himself, but right now, the first thing the 06 has to do is focus, get to the front, and hope the rest happens from there.
And that makes the math really easy for Jesse Jensen. Finish ahead of the 06 car and win.
Pretty much.
So if Jensen can do that, he should have her locked on up. As you can see, these drivers are not playing nice early, considering the last few laps that we just saw of the Legend main event. They're all over the place, and you can see there's some ill-handling race cars in this field right now.
Yeah, these cars have seen a long season. And I've talked with some of them, pre-race throughout the year that they've all, it's been a long year, and they've been happy with most of the drivers have been happy with the season they've had, but I'm sure the cars are feeling that long year at the end of it.
On top of that, race budgets are probably feeling the long year, and at that point in time, and maybe where there was money in the kitty for a new tire every time that one came available to buy, now there's not, and your 4 corners of used rubber, that can definitely affect your handling. As, man, we're seeing a lot of sparking in that outside groove from the street stocks. That time out from underneath Camp, and Jesse Jensen's taking full advantage. Most of the time we see Jesse climbing around the outside.
Whoa.
Chase Jones. All right, it stays intact. He's had to rebody that car more than a few times. So thankfully he isn't going to have to after that spin out in turn number 1, but it cost him a bunch of spots. It's Helm, Shimmick, and is that Jensen third? Yes, it is. So Jensen actually now second, and Camp in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, this is not the day the 06 wants to have. They're trying to get around Mike Shimmick there in the 7. Steve Potasic's going to have to move and motor that Lang Auto Sports 06 forward. I know the car's got the speed, but we haven't seen it quite so far as Jensen. There's the typical line. We see that 3 car use speed into the corners, around the outside. Says Jerry Helm, thanks for keeping the seat warm. He's to the lead.
The Will Cruzmore owned at number 3, and I say Will Cruzmore. That's 3 different last names combined into one. Has taken the race lead in their quest for another title. We have got to take a timeout. We'll come back with more of the Tire Pro Street Stock main event next here on Home Track Heroes. We're back in action here on the Tire Pros Street Stocks. Their main event is got about 22 laps left to go. You're watching Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. I'm Caleb Hart. Ben Iman joins me in the booth. Our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. As we roll through this feature, almost 20 laps to go, and Austin Camp looks like he is fighting that 69 car, something serious.
Yeah, something's not quite right for the 69. Austin Camp was at one point your points leader this season, so he sits comfortably 3rd in that points battle, but it might be 3rd or 4th, top 5 for sure for the 69. But so the 06 and the 3rd and the 3 of Jesse Jensen, those are your 2 cars battling it out, and Jensen is really emphatically stamping this one in. Surprised Potasic has not made his way through the field as well so far today.
You know, he is 4th, though, so 7th to 4th is still a appreciable run. Thing is, he's got to get underneath Camp, and Camp, well, I say that car is not handling great. It's still fast enough to be a threat, as they'll bounce off each other on the front straightaway. Potasic gets by. So control what you can control. Potasic's got to get to the front. He's got to get ahead of Jesse Jensen, and then hope something happens. It wouldn't be the first time, not to levy one of the whammies on one of our guys, one of the commentators cursed, but we have seen Jensen have mechanical gremlins jump up and bite him before. So we'll watch it. We'll continue on. He is way clear of Jerry Helm right now. Potasic looking to do his job and get in front of the 27 car as he chases him off the 4th turn.
Coming off turn 4, you can see he's got a good run down the inside. Helm just kind of sneaks up towards that top line and almost, trying to maybe set up a crossover, but too much speed in the 06. Away goes Steve Potasic. So here we go. Can Steve Potasic run down Jesse Jensen, or can something come to bite Jesse Jensen? That's essentially what Potasic needs. He's doing what he needs to, up from 7th to 2nd.
We're halfway through this race, so the time remaining, you got halfway through. As you're getting a look, there's Jim Fody in the 85, looking to cruise in and closer to the 03 of Fagerly. Old school look on the 42 car of Tony Deegan. Love the throwback. He doesn't have one of the next-gen bodies on that thing. It just looks like a Camaro should look like.
That's right. He does not. And we love Tony Deegan coming out here and showing what that car can do coming out. And he's out here, I'd say, pretty consistently. He's missed a couple of weeks so far this year, but Camp taking it to Jerry Helm. Austin Camp wants to round out that podium, and we'll get one more for the end of the year. Down to the inside.
Yeah, down to the bottom. Taps the back, and that'll be enough to get on by. So Camp moves up into 3rd, as there's a look at your race leader, who's coming into Thornborough, the 72 car, who will serve as lap traffic for him.
And Jesse Jensen needs to clear the lap traffic fairly easily, fairly quickly. The last thing is we don't want another lap traffic situation like we had with the Youth Hornets potentially come up for Jesse Jensen.
That could be a bad thing for him. As we continue to watch, there is Shimmick. You can see him fighting the handle hard in the back end of the 7 car, the former Lindgren machine, as he works his way in through the corner. Helm managing to drive away from him down the back straightaway during the process. Jensen, your race leader. You don't see Potasic in screen quite yet, so he's got some pad with 10 laps to go, just a third of the race left here on the 3/8 mile that the street stocks always run.
And just trying to do what he can, continue to pick your line, stick to it, just continue to build that gap as best as you can, and watch out for Tony Deegan.
Well, Deegan knows he's coming. He gets up to the middle groove and says, "See you later, buddy." I mean, watch how hard you can drive into turn number 3. And for Jesse, he's I've talked to him a lot just about driving in general. He's spent a lot of time learning at the feet at some really smart guys as far as setting the car up goes, etc. And he's got a ton of laps driving here at Evergreen Speedway. He says your corner entry is so important here. Not about how hard you get into the corner, but where you set the car up to where you can pick the throttle back up again for. So if we ever get a chance to watch Jesse again coming through the corner where he's battling with somebody side by side, pay particular attention to where his throttle pickup is, where that car seems to get back on the gas and accelerates, and see if you can learn something.
Jim Fody makes the pass around the 03 of Plain Fagerly, and I have to pound this out as we go on board with Jim Fody. Is he driving with one hand?
Drivers have done that, and especially some of your veteran drivers will drive with one hand and leave the other one on the shifter. Just kind of a natural thing.
I don't even know that's on the shifter. I think it's just hanging up on the railing.
Well, for many years, the way that cockpits were constructed is that you had a bar that was like running right parallel to that seat. And you can kind of see it. It's spaced out a ways, but you used to have guys who would rest their arms on the bar and drive with one hand. It's kind of a old school thing from Jim. There it is. Yeah, he's just kind of hanging out there on the roll cage bar. So
Jim Fody's out for a leisurely Saturday drive.
This is reminding me of days of yore as I grew up watching racing at Wenatchee Valley Raceway and then Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, and you would watch guys and you could see them from up top like Marty Wasson in the mini stocks. He just cruise around, arm on the roll bar, left hand on the steering wheel, casual. they needed a smoke break. They could race for the ashtray and grab it.
Well, Jim Fode's doing a lot. He's up to 6th in the 85 tonight, so making the move. Jesse Jensen, another driver making the moves happen, just continuing to stick it out up top. And as things stand, Jesse Jensen has what he needs to hang on to a championship here in that Tire Pros 3 up towards the front of the race. Clears Tony Deegan once again. Again, thank you, Brandy Hood, for promotions for that onboard cam. And
cool shot.
Jim Fode.
Yeah.
Chillaxing in the car.
Easy enough. He could be reading a novel in there, as we're going to get one more lap to decide the Street Stock Championship. Tire Pros Street Stocks. Jesse Jensen, half a track to go. Will he bring home title that this team has been seeking? And off the 4th corner, it looks like he will. Checkered flag. Jensen to the win. Potasic, what a great season for him. Ends up 2nd in the race and 2nd in points. And Austin Camp completes a pretty good year for himself as well, with the 3rd place here on our race night. Cool deal. Tire Pros Street Stocks, always a highlight here of our Home Track Heroes program. And let's go talk to your top 3 on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Austin, long season, bring the car home 3rd. Just talk about the year overall for you.
Man, it was a really special year. I upgraded cars and bit off a whole lot, man, and I couldn't have done it without my team, my wife, my daughter Adriana, Zach Olson, Scott Reese, all the guys that are out there every week, the Lang family, the Wager family, everybody, WQMA, and all the support that I get from those guys, man. It was a hell of a ride.
And what are you looking forward to most for next season?
Coming back harder, coming back faster, and seeing if I can knock down the big dogs.
Let's give it a 3rd place tonight, Austin Camp. Steve, tough season, hard charging, came home 2nd, but what more did you think you needed for the 3 tonight?
10 more laps. Either that or I waited a little bit at the beginning because everybody kind of was moving around a lot. And yeah, 10 more laps.
Yeah, tough race. Who do you want to thank for helping you get out here all season long?
Connor and Kevin. Without them, not possible. Lang Autosports. Came up shy, but maybe next year.
Let's give it up. Steve Potasic, 2nd place tonight. And now we'll get onto the podium, your race winner and your season champion, the 3-car, Jesse Jensen. All right, not gonna let you escape just so far. Jesse, tough race tonight. You took off, you didn't look back, and now you are a track champion. Just how does that feel? Is that sinking in yet?
Feels great. I'm so happy to deliver to all my guys. They worked so hard for years, and the struggles we've gone through this year with broken parts, just all kinds of issues to finally come through. And beat Steve tonight. That felt pretty good. His car's been on rails. He does an awesome job. Proud of him. And that was a lot of fun. The car was really good tonight. Rob had it right, and it was just a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah, you guys had the closest battle coming into the night. Single-digit points. Only 4 spots would have been the difference, but you took off and you didn't look back. Did you know any of that going in the car, or was it just focused and every given Saturday?
I mean, you got to be focused, of course, but I got an awesome spotter. Greg guided me to the front and whipped me like a horse for the first 20 laps. And then about 10 to go, I kind of just put it in cruise control, and we just monitored car lengths to the 06, just trying to keep the gap.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out all year long?
Oh, man. Rob Wilk, Jeff Fillmore, Randall West, Greg Gott, just all my guys, all the kids, Cooper, Jasper, my son, Chase, my wife, Lindsay, I love you, my mother-in-law, Karen, who's one of my biggest supporters, the Manabusen family, they're here tonight. Thanks for all your support. Marcy, thanks for the awesome food. You feed us so well, and it's just a blessing to have your support too. And then we got the Peyton family. We got a special girl with a birthday today. How old are you? 11. Come on up here. 11. Yeah, so it's Parker. I always get them confused. There's two of them. Anyway, it's Parker's 11th birthday today, and she's awesome. She's got to be my biggest fan, so I love her to death, and happy birthday, girl.
Let's give it up one more time. Etched into the history book, Jesse Jensen, track champion.
Well, congratulations, Jesse, Rob, Geoff, Dirk, Cooper, the entire crew down on the, and Greg. Can't forget Greg. The entire crew on the 3-car. Congratulations, Tire Pro Street Stock main event and championship win for that group. Good group of guys. Field a great race car. Let's move on. Ben, it is time to decide a champion here in the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models. Your lineup for the final feature of the year.
That will be led out by the 18 out of Linwood and sponsored by JR Truck Rentals. It is no one other than Nema Lang. We'll also see the Edwards Construction number 3. That is your points leader. That is Wild Wyatt Gardner out of Lake Stevens starting second.
The second row out of Snohomish, the Quality Towing 32 of Chase Gardner. And to his outside out of Everett, the Northwest Boiler number 14 of Colton Price.
We'll see the 12C, Chad Fitzpatrick's behind the wheel of the trademark RCS car out of Lake Stevens. Jeff Knight's in the 70 out of Monroe. He's sponsored by Nitrous Ranch and Cattle.
Fourth row's Nick Beecher out of Marysville, the Kendall Auto Group number 45. Next to him from Monroe, the Joe Hansen Mechanical number K9 of Caden Holm.
Mike Marthaler's out of Everett in the 2, sponsored by Direct Carpet Cleaning and Restoration. And Daniel Moore in the 16, sponsored by PRCBD out of Snohomish, rounds out the field.
Haven't seen a lot of Daniel over the course of this year. 10 cars, 50 times around on the 3.8. Big thank you to Speedway Chevrolet. They're our class sponsor. They're our segment sponsor as well. Visit Speedway Chevrolet and RV Center in Monroe for your customized trucks, lifted trucks, work trucks. Speedway Chevrolet, they can locate the truck that fits you best. You need a truck to haul your late model to the raceway? You do that.
I just might.
Green flag out. It's Nema Lang, the 8-time champion, and Wyatt Gardner, the prospective champion. 50 laps from now, it has been Wyatt's world, and we have all just kind of been living in it here in 2024.
Not sure what it has felt like at times, but there's been other cars in this field that have been fast. Of course, we have to admit, Haley Constance had some mechanical issues, not out here tonight. Unfortunate break for that team, but Colton Price is a driver who's been quick this year. The 14's looking to quickly surpass Chase Gardner and get up onto the podium.
He'll dig his way to the inside. Been a great learning year for Chase Gardner. Started early on in the season, was finding his way, and now he's up there competing, really rubbing shoulders and banging doors with some of the best that we have in the business. He's running 4th at the moment, so congrats on the great gains by Chase. As you watch Nema, the 8-time track champion. About a car length between himself and Wyatt here in the early going. Price a little ways back in 3rd. It is Gardner in the 4th spot. Chad Fitzpatrick, again, brand new car as of about a month and change ago in the 12. And looking for room underneath Gardner coming off the 4th corner.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick looking to move his way forward. Been kind of still shaking that car out in some sense. Hasn't had a ton of races with the new one. I think maybe 5 or 6 at this rate. But looking to make the move here on Chase Gardner, and that would be for 4th if he can make that pass happen.
Yep, found themselves a Hamke over in Eastern Washington, put the thing together, if I remember the story right. Now he's got to look to the inside of Gardner coming off of turn number 2. Bottom is open for Fitzpatrick, and he'll nose in. Not quite to the point where he's got right to the line yet. He's only up to the rear corner panel. See if he can nose up to the door, and now he has got the spot. They'll go side by side for the position through the middle of the turn.
Yeah, side by side. Neither driver willing to give it an inch. Good run for Chase Gardner out of the corner, but better entry, I would say, for Chad Fitzpatrick as they'll run off of 3 and 4. Another great, Chase Gardner's hitting these turn exits just right where he needs to be.
Yeah, kind of showing himself that he can run the middle and run it successfully. He comes down just a hair through the corner, trying to make it a little more difficult on Chad. Chad's now up to the numbers with the nose, coming through the apex of the corner, but boy, Gardner battling him hard. Out there in the middle this time. Doesn't take as wide of an entry into the corner. Stays a little more middle, and that's going to give Fitzpatrick another nose forward. Now you'd say they're even Stevens through the corner as we're going to get a look at the battle for the lead.
Yeah, jump back up front to the leaders, Nema Lang. We knew it was going to be a long night trying to defend from Wyatt Gardner. Now Well, another look here. Chad Fitzpatrick, Chase Gardner battling it out for 4th. Lots of battles happening on track everywhere with the late models.
Yeah, pick where you want to watch and follow from there. And it's one of the reasons we say there's nothing quite like being at Evergreen Speedway Live. You're watching what we're choosing to show you, but there are battles everywhere here with Wyatt dogging Nema. And this race for 4th between Fitzpatrick and Gardner getting so good.
Yeah, neither one of these drivers wanted to give an inch. Nema Lang has defended from Wyatt Gardner at least 10 laps now. He's going to have to do it about 40 more times, however, 39 to be exact, if Nema Lang wants to pick up one more win. Nema Lang came into the night just enough points behind that it was still mathematically possible for him to capture a championship. And at the start of the day, Wyatt Gardner's looking to seal it up, however.
Boy, Gardner, back end swam on him coming off the corner. He had a lot of speed there, and I thought he might have nosed back ahead for that spot, but it is Fitzpatrick, just cool as a cucumber, down on the bottom of the racetrack and methodically hitting his lines. That's what Chad does. He gets into rhythm, he gets underneath you, and he will wear you down with his consistency running the low groove here around Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, just continuing to keep the car planted. The 12 of Chad Fitzpatrick is, man, again, another impressive drive from Chase Gardner. We can't do both of them showing lots of skill to run side by side like that for 10+ laps. That is not easy. K9, Caden Holmes hanging out right behind them, maybe looking to capture his way forward if he can pounce on one of these two making a mistake.
And run each other clean as Gardner coming through it. Fitzpatrick might actually be a hair too low on the racetrack because you saw the front end bounce just a hair. He might be getting down onto the rumble strips in 3 and 4 and maybe 1 and 2 as well, as Gardner actually gets him clear going into 1. Now the question is, does he want to bring the car down half a groove as let's flip back, your battle for the lead is on.
Yeah, Nema Lang looking to defend. Wyatt Gardner sticking down the inside, going for a crossover. Lang gets high enough, shuts the door. The 8-time track champion showing how much skill he has, showing that those weren't flukes. I mean, if you win an 8-time, it can't be a fluke.
Yeah, maybe one of them at most. But at most. Take a look at the inside of the cockpit on Nema. He's got the beautiful light-up digital gauges in there that are actually going to give him a color indication. If something is wrong on one of those panels, you can program it to, let's say your oil pressure drops, to blink red on you, and rather than have to like follow a gauge needle or a number, it will do that. So it's one of the setups that Nema has in that race car that's been so meticulously put together. Right now, he's trying to concentrate on the track ahead of him and not worry about what the gauges are saying, as Gardner's had a couple of runs, but so far, Nema, a great job of defending as he has turned him away consistently over the first 18 laps.
Yeah, now Wyatt Gardner maybe looks to the outside. These two battled it out a lot. We saw them battle it out during the Mark Galloway shootouts. We saw them battle it out back at Summer Showdown weekend in the Tire Pros 100. So these two can give each other a run for the money. I'm not surprised that Nema Lang is keeping Wyatt Gardner at bay as long as he is, but now maybe sticks to the outside while Wyatt's maybe going to look for the high line. Says the Approach 4 trucks could run it, maybe I can.
Did you see the back end of the Lang car wiggle a little bit coming into the turn number 1? It sure did. And there is Gardner pouncing, driving around the outside as Lang gets a little loose. Gardner has done it consistently all year long, and he has done it clean as well, as Wyatt drives up into the top spot and will take the lead right as we get prepped for a commercial break. Final Speedway Chevrolet late model main event of the year is on track. We'll get you to the thrilling conclusion coming up next here on Home Track Heroes. We are at the highly sought after final segment of the night here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Thank you all for letting us entertain you here on this Sunday evening. I'm Caleb Hart. Ben Iman, we have got the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late models on the racetrack with 22 laps to go, and the Wyatt Gardner show continues as he looks to secure his track championship.
It's going to put Mike Marthaler down a lap here. That's the first car to go down a lap here in our Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Model division. Wyatt Gardner's been the man to beat all year, and he's showing why. He's running away with his field, putting a big gap to Nema Lang. Nema Lang held him up a solid 20 laps. This wasn't a for sure thing coming into it, but right now Wyatt Gardner's doing everything he needs to do to capture that track championship.
We have seen the entire pile of feature wins that he's put together here at Evergreen Speedway on the year on Home Track Heroes, brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, the name you can trust since 1976 for quality service and peace of mind. Visit them today at GeneJohnsonServices.com. As they say, we're on it. Gardner, again, your race leader, and we've talked a lot about him. We've sang a lot of praises for him. He came out on opening night, got his first feature win here at Evergreen Speedway. It seems weird to think that that was win number 1. Went over to Tri-Cities, won the Apple Cup over there, has come back and has only been beaten a handful of times over the course of the year. I was thinking back to it, the other drivers who have won Pro Late Model features, amongst them, Tanner picked up the win on Showdown weekend, right? Thomas Sanford got a W out here one night, and then there was one other driver who's been in victory lane in the pros.
Hayden
Plybon. So, yeah, it's been just a handful of guys who have been able to sneak up and come and get Wyatt over the course of the year. Otherwise, it's just been his show.
Yeah, he has been the car to beat, and he's been competitive too. He's shown that he's had all the speed, and this hasn't been like he's fluked his way into wins. Most of these nights, he's secured them with dominance. As we're taking a look at Beecher in the 45, now back to Wyatt running away with this. Chad Fitzpatrick's up into 4th. Colton Price still sits 3rd. That might be, see if there a battle develops there for that final podium spot. Under 15 laps to go for Wild Wyatt.
So Gardner continues his march towards destiny here with 14 to go in this one. Just looking smooth. You look how well that car rotates in through the corner. And again, he's been able to do different things with that car. He's the only guy running the package of stuff that he's got going. He's the only guy in an All-American chassis out in the field. So spent a lot of time in the shop, spent a lot of time kind of researching the package that he wanted to put together here for Evergreen Speedway and come out and race it. And you look at it, you look how he enters turn number 3, and it's a way to keep his speed up. He actually enters about a half a groove higher into 3 when he's running by himself than anybody else does. That car just rotates that turn, and he keeps so much speed off of it. Let's watch him going into turn number 1 here. And where other drivers look like they're coming into the corner and they're making a more sharp, drastic corner, Wyatt's able to take a slightly smoother angle to it. You watch, that car sits up in that 2nd groove for a little bit higher going into the turn before it comes downhill, and it turns all the way down and through, allowing him to keep his foot in the throttle and keep momentum up without scrubbing speed the whole way around. It's shown in time trials, it's shown in practice sessions, and every time he's been on the track.
Yeah, Wyatt Gardner is showing, he put the work in to put this package together, and here he is looking now. He's got about 9 more laps to go, single-digit laps for Wyatt Gardner until he can bring home an Evergreen Speedway championship. Still looking to see who's out there battling out. We're still watching Colton Price, maybe see if Chad Fitzpatrick can close this gap up a little bit. You can see Daniel Moore goes down a lap for Wyatt Gardner. But right now, Wyatt Gardner is just on a dance with destiny.
Yeah, and he did it, and to which everybody at this point knows, he lost his dad just before the season started, and his dad was a gigantic portion of the program. Wyatt works on the car by and large by himself, and Dad was the right-hand man on that operation when it came to doing stuff, picking up parts, figuring out what needed to go where, etc. So to do that, and in the face of adversity, put together this season that he's had has been pretty incredible.
It has definitely been a season of mysticism for Wyatt Gardner. There's been something in the air, you could say, for Wyatt Gardner this year.
Something was, karma was on his side.
Absolutely.
How about that? Let's take nothing away from Damon Lang. Lang, who started the year off and had picked up a couple of podiums, but was really not quite to where Damon normally is. Boy, has he picked it up since mid-season as he looks back into his championship race-winning form as well. Nema, whatever they figured out, has definitely brought that car to life, and he started putting together some excellent runs himself.
Yeah, totally. Ever since about those Mark Galloway shootouts, first time we took to the 5/8 Oval, Nema Lang, the car has returned to form. And, I mean, he'll be the first to admit to you that the first portion of the season didn't really start out for them, I think, like how they'd hoped. And that definitely handcuffed them a little bit coming down into the later parts of the year. Not too many opportunities for these late models to score points. They don't run heat races. So he did his best. I mean, you can't take anything away from Nema Lang's year.
And especially, you look at Nema, he is so competitive when he travels out of town as well. You knew he was going to figure it back out here in the track that he has tens of thousands of laps around. So good to see Nema picking back up the pace and rounding into form once again in that always strong 18 car. He's we're down to just a couple of laps to go as Wyatt almost looks like he is gaining speed here in the late session of this. Wow.
Yeah, putting the gap even further to Namalang if he can. Just stamping it down, saying this year is the year of Wild Wyatt Gardner.
That's right. He is marking it with an exclamation point as he rolls into turn number 1 and through 2 for the final time. A definitive and decided dominating championship off of corner number 4 for Wyatt Gardner. Another victory on championship night. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your champ.
Yeah, that is the champ. The champ is here. Namalang comes home strong in second. Good run from Colton Price, come home third. That'll wrap up 1, 2, 3 in the standings. Chad Fitzpatrick, then Chase Gardner, and we round out the rest of the field moving the way back. It looks like we're going to hand the flag off here for Wyatt Gardner and let him turn one more time around. Checkered flag out the window. That's got to feel good.
I can't imagine the jubilation for him, you know. Again, all of those long hours in the shop working on it and figuring out, okay, what can I do? What's going to give me the leg up here at Evergreen Speedway? And boy, did he ever get her done, and get her done in spectacular fashion. He'll be an excellent representative as our Pro Late Model champion here for 2024. And let's go down to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium to talk to him and our top 3.
Colton, third place tonight, third place in the points in the season overall. Just how's it feeling after the year?
It's all right. We made some changes about halfway through the season and haven't figured it out yet. So car was a handful tonight. I was sideways everywhere I was, but able to hold off for third. It's pretty good. Can't really complain about it. Last race of the year.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out all year long?
I got to thank Northwest Boiler, D2 Foundations, Bush Light, Roach and Bishop Law Firm, Snohomish Co-op, Jeff, Dane, Patrick, everybody that helps all this go on. Mr. Bill for keeping the motor good all year. And everybody that comes out and supports, it means the world.
Let's give it a third place tonight, Colton Price. Name a long season, but cap it off with a second place, hard year. Just walk me through the year for yourself.
We were struggling with the race car all year. I think we got it a little closer towards the end of this season. Hats off to Wyatt and his whole crew there. I know they worked their butts off, and I can't thank my crew enough for everything that we've been through this year.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here this year?
Definitely my crew, J&R Truck Rentals, J&R Motorsports, Lang Auto Sports, and MJ's Auto Transport.
Let's give it up. Second place tonight, Nema Lang. And now onto the podium, race winner and track champion, Wyatt Gardner. All right, Wyatt, a long season, but you finally made it, track champion. What does this moment feel to you?
Oh, if you would ask me at the beginning of the year, I'd have been happy we just won a race. If we would just finished on the podium. But we, this group of guys and I got together this year, and we went into this year, me not having even finished in the top 5, much less a win or a podium or even a championship. So I can't thank them enough. Without them, it's pointless. I mean, they bust their butts. We work in the shop 5 days a week, and we make sure this thing's right. So we pulled out all the stops and made sure this thing was perfect for tonight. Just can't thank them enough.
Yeah, tough year for you guys, but you worked through a lot. And now you packed up a couple of wins and got here. What does this just mean after years of racing and to finally be the top step end of the year?
The short answer is it means it's ready to get ready for the Fall Classic. So we get back to the shop on Monday. We'll celebrate tomorrow, and we get ready for a long off season. See if we can't make this thing even a little bit better. And Nama's got 9 of them or 12 or whatever he's got. So we got a long ways to go to catch him. But I tied his kid at least, so I was pretty proud of that.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here all year long?
Pacific Lighting System, Bedford Construction, Pump Industries, Young Inc., Resch Printing, Green White Checkered Media, anybody, all my supporters, everybody that made this happen, all my guys, Rob, Jimmy, Gene, Wade, Corey, Jason. I mean, like I said, we bust our butts. Grand American Race Cars, War Shocks, Mark Westland. I mean, there's just so many people behind me that makes my job really easy, and I know I make it look difficult sometimes, but it's a lot of fun to drive these race cars.
Let's give it up one more time. Track champion, Wild Wyatt Gardner.
Wyatt, Haley, and the crew celebrating the championship. Congratulations, Wyatt Gardner, our late model champion. Ben, fantastic night. Congratulations as well. Jesse Jensen, Kyle Lang, Jackson Beckel, and I'm forgetting one, Pro 4 Trucks, McKenna Cox. Those guys all did a great job. Next week on Home Track Heroes, championship night number 2 for 4 divisions of action. And the next time you can come to Evergreen Speedway, DriftCon after dark on Saturday the 28th. For Ben Iman, I'm Caleb Hart. For Griff and Derek doing the production and our awesome camera crew, appreciate you guys being here with us at Evergreen Speedway. We will see you next Sunday night at 5 o'clock on Seattle 11 for more Home Track Heroes.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.